Take me out to California.
Hi guys, today I want to talk to you about sleep. Over on Channel Mum, they are going to be talking about sleep this month. So you'll see some of the other Channel Mum vloggers will be talking about sleep, whether that be baby sleep, mummy sleep, children sleep, but it's going to be all sleep related. And in mid-September, so in the middle of the month, they're going to be launching a sleep campaign for baby sleep, and we have our expert Maggie Fisher, who is in Channel Mum support group, which I will link below. And if you have children that are just struggling to sleep, or babies that are just struggling to get into a routine, Maggie's the person that you should speak to, and you have access to her in the Channel Mum support group, which is there for all your parenting challenges where you're like pulling your hair out and you're unsure where to go next. Because let's be honest, there is no rule book really, and sometimes it's nice to get advice of other people. You should watch some of the other Channel Mum vloggers as well, because they're going to be talking about their own sleep, how they get their kids to sleep, and routines and that kind of thing. So if you're looking for some advice on that, it'd be a great series to check out. Sleep for me, I have talked about this before, but I run on very little sleep. I have read lots on mental health and mindset, and everything that I read tells me I need more sleep. It's a weird one for me because I can remember being really young. My dad used to work, my dad was a welder when I was growing up, and he was always up really early and out the door, and I used to get up with him. I used to watch Mr. Motivator and do exercises with Mr. Motivator in the morning, about 6 o'clock in the morning. Those in the UK of my age might know what I'm talking about if they were up early enough. So I was always an early bird. And then as I got older, I also became a night owl. And I, as an entrepreneur, as somebody who works and stuff, and especially when I became a parent, I would always stay up late and have done and do right now. I probably go to bed, 12 o'clock is, I can get into bed earlier, but 12 o'clock plus, usually later than 12 o'clock, is standard. For me to go to sleep at 11 o'clock would be unusual. 10 o'clock, when I hear parents, they're like, oh, go to bed at 10 o'clock, I'm like, 10 o'clock? I'm still doing stuff at 10 o'clock, for sure. So that's really unheard of. Now, because I'm a parent, it means I am kind of running off very little sleep, because the kids will still come in. My girls are 5 and 7. They come into my room probably about 10 to 7. They're not too early now. And if they come in earlier, I just say, get out my room and get back into bed now, immediately. What on earth are you thinking? But they've been told, if it's not 7 o'clock and I'm not up, because I'll get up at 7. If I'm not up, then you just go back to bed, because I'm very strict when it comes to sleep. And so this is the weird thing. So for me, I have very little sleep, but I'm really, really aware that children's development means they need to have a lot of sleep to process the stuff that's happened in the day. So when my husband was here, we were really, really strict from the very beginning on sleep habits with the kids. So right from the beginning. Now I know there's pros and cons to controlled crying. Some people agree, some people don't. I did controlled crying with my girls. I'm sure there'll be comments underneath this. Obviously, I use common sense. If my daughters were screaming and in distress in any way, then they got cuddled. they got cuddles, and I did all the things. And I'm not saying I was perfect at this when they were babies either, by the way, but we tried to, as much as we could, we tried to not do things with the girls that we would have to then train them out of. So we didn't want to do dummies, pacifiers if you're in America. We didn't want to do dummies, and we tried not to do, there's your teddy that you have to go to sleep, like sort of comfort blankets or comfort teddies. We tried not to do that as much as possible. And actually, I think Brooke had a little bit of a thing with one particular Peppa Pig teddy for a while. Neither of them had dummies. And don't get me wrong, please don't think this is judgment on you if you do it differently, because it's not. This is just what worked for me and what we decided to do. But the one thing we did do was we stuck to a routine. Absolutely religiously stuck to the routine when they were really young. So it was always 6 o'clock for us, was always, we call it pack down. So it was like we would draw the curtains, we'd make everything darker, calmer, There would be no like bright lights, bright TV. I think we used to have CBeebies on here in the UK. We have CBeebies. It has no adverts on, and it's all very developed to help children go to sleep. So the last TV episode, things that they have on, are all designed to help the kids sleep. So actually you often find yourself, if you watch those programs, starting to nod off yourself, because they're really designed to help them calm and get to bed. So they were never allowed to watch anything other than that, because other cartoons are really hyped up for that kind of time at night. So we'd have either calmer music, it would be darker, it would be CBeebies, or nothing at all. When they were babies, obviously it was bottle and then bed, bath, bottle and bed. So it was always the routine. They would have the bath, warm, they'd have bottle, cuddles, and then it was bed. And then as they got older, it's kind of stuck with, you know, after tea, it's slow, we slow things down a little bit, bath, or now shower, and story, bed. Right now, I've got 2 years between my girls, so Brooke gets a bit of extra time, about 15-20 minutes, depending on what time Texas goes to bed. But sleep is important. So if my girls get up after bed, they will get told to get straight back into bed. And I'm not nice about it. If they mess about, they go back to bed. I'm really strict about it. There's no, ooh, come and cuddle me. And bearing in mind, I'm on my own now. And it would be very nice, quite honestly, for me to allow the girls into my bed to sleep with me sometimes. That would be lovely. I love my girls, I love cuddling them, and that would probably make me feel good, they'd enjoy it. But you know what? That is ridiculous and unrealistic for me, because where do you go from there? They're not settling themselves, they're not calming themselves to go to sleep. So even the other night, Brooke had a nightmare. She came into my room, it was early in the morning, about 4 o'clock, and obviously, I'm not a hard-hearted mum, cuddled her, she came in bed with me. And because it was early in the morning, I said to her, look, you can stay in my bed and you can go to sleep in my bed tonight. This doesn't happen again. It doesn't. Now, if Brooke she didn't try again the next night, but if I had not said that, or it was a regular thing, it would become something a habit that I'd have to get her out of. And you know what kids are like, once they've got something, they want to be in your bed cuddling with you. That's standard, that's what they want to be around their parents. But I know they need to be able to be okay in their own space, in their own bed, going to sleep and having enough sleep. And I'm really, really strict on it. So the girls really don't push it that much. Brooke, and now she's older, we've had challenges with that over the last year, but largely she still knows. She might have the odd day where she kicks off and she tries to get up, but she knows that I will not at any point back down. So we might have to have a bit of drama back and forth for a bit, but actually once I've had one of those days, I won't get that for another couple of weeks, because she'll know that that's the boundary stopped, you're going to bed. That's it, it's sleep time. And I do hear from some of what Brooke says to me about some of the other kids at school, and they go to bed pretty late. And I'm still surprised at that. Brooke, late as she goes to bed, is 7:30. It's been the holidays, so I have been more lenient in the holidays, but that's because I know that they're not at school, they can relax a little bit more, and often they will lie in a little bit as well. I think it was harder the second time round with Texas, because if Texas cried, she woke Brooke. So it becomes a little trickier when you've got another child. The routine really helped. With both girls, once they were toddling, they took themselves to bed. When their program, the CBeebies program, finished, they knew that was bedtime. They'd done the bath, the bottle, the last program that they would watch, or the story. Once that story had happened, they'd take themselves to bed. And my own sleep is a work in progress, and I just try to, sometimes I actually do still nap in the day, but I think as much as I'm sure on paper I'm supposed to have more sleep, and it probably would benefit me some days, I think I've just always ran on very little sleep. I just have. It's weird, and I can't remember a time when I didn't do it. So as much as I know everybody around me is like, you should have more sleep than that, I feel all right. And I don't know, I mean, I meditate, so I do think that helps with my energy. That's not sleeping, but it's rest in my brain, so maybe I get that. And yeah, so that's my thoughts on sleep. Tell me what you guys do, because it is interesting, isn't it? In fact, I was reading something today about depression and mental health related to sleep, and there's definitely those that get less sleep, 100%. I think there was a study I was reading said it was 20% more likely to have depression or mental health issues. I don't doubt that. because I think if you're tired, you are a lot less resilient to things. But me personally, I think overall I get slightly less than I probably should. I think that's probably the case for a lot of parents, but overall I think I probably, you know, it averages itself out. I think overall, I don't know, maybe that's because I'm just deliriously tired. Don't know what I'm talking about, saying I think a lot. I'm just tired, aren't I work better late at night, so I do a lot of my creative work is done really late at night. I just get a second wind at about 9 o'clock and I'm like, oh my god, I could totally create this thing, and then I want to do it. And maybe I think it was a sense for me of almost, not consciously, but like almost getting one up on the rest of the world while everyone else is sleeping. I'm going to be creating something really cool and doing something, and I'm awake. I think there was a sense of that certainly when I was younger, and now it's purely, I'm just used to it. It just feels, you know, the kids go to sleep and I've got to tidy and do things and then create my own work, and sleep needs to take slightly a backseat on that. But I think I do make it up, and I have a fairly relaxing life in lots of ways. I try not to be mindlessly busy, so hopefully that helps. That's my thought on sleep, and if you want help with your baby's sleep, then you should totally check the link below and have a look at the Channel Mum Sleep Baby Sleep series that's going to be coming out, and there's some printouts and things as well. Mid-September that's going to happen, but you can always talk to Maggie in the Channel Mum forums and chats where you can ask for advice, and she's amazing, so you should totally do that if you are struggling with your children and you want some advice. And the other Channel Mum vloggers will be in there as well, and they're always great for their own versions, because let's be honest, parenting, we ain't got a clue what we're doing. We're all just trying our best, and you know, we get told one thing works, another thing works, and really you've just got to listen to your own intuition and know your own children, because you will work out what works for them. Speak to you all soon. Peace.
Take me out